Captain's log, stardate 6236.5. Following our mission to Balkos, the Enterprise is proceeding to Omega Corvus to probe radiation clouds. We are expecting an uneventful mission.
Message from Starfleet Command.
On screen.
This is a Code 2 emergency, Captain. 3 Federation ships have vanished in the Delphi system within the last month. 3 days ago, we lost contact with the USS Zimbabwe. You are to go to the Delphi system and find out what's happened to our ships. Starfleet out.
Captain, at our current speed of warp 7, I expect to enter the Delphi system in 8 minutes.
Captain, I just started getting the oddest noise on all channels. It sounds like some sort of insect drone.
Let's hear it, Lieutenant.
An object is approaching the Enterprise.
On screen. Mr. Spock, is that what I think it is?
Sensors indicate that it is an authentic Earth warplane, circa 1917, belonging to the nation of Germany. Its appearance is identical to a Fokker DR-1. Sensors also indicate an immense power source and one life form.
We are being hailed.
This is Baron Trelane von Gothis of the German Air Circus. I have identified you as an enemy aircraft. You have 10 seconds to surrender before I blow you out of the sky.
Trelane, but I thought we'd seen the last of you. Stop playing games, Trelane. Leave my ship alone. We surrender. Trelane, triplanes didn't have radios during the First World War.
Captain Kirk, that is not the way for mortal enemies to greet each other on the field of battle. Of course you hadn't seen the last of me. I am Trelane, the humble Baron of Gothis.
Humility is not something that I would associate with you, Trelane. I suppose we're going to get another tantrum from a runaway child with too much power for his own good. Mortal enemies? When are you going to grow up, Trelane? Humility is not some mortal enemy.
Not for several millennia, I'm afraid. Of course, the Baron von Gothis does not have to aspire to such lofty heights to defeat his latest victim.
You were responsible for what happened to the Zimbabwe? We'll see who the victim will be, Trelane. No matter how powerful you are, your arrogance and your immaturity will always be your downfall. Why don't you aspire to lofty heights and leave us alone?
And miss the opportunity to settle an old score? Captain Kirk, didn't anyone ever teach you about diplomacy or manners? There are times when I really question your breeding.
Sensors indicate he is closing on us. I would extrapolate that he intends to fire us.
Raise shields, evasive maneuvers.
Raising shields, Captain. Victims are not responding.
Sensors indicate that our hull would not hold against his attack.
Trelane.
We have been unconscious for a considerable length of time, Captain. This is Lieutenant Commander Ellis, First Officer and Security Chief of the USS Zimbabwe.
Hello, Mr. Ellis. Where is your captain?
He was in sickbay at the time that triplane attacked us. I don't know what's going on.
What is going on, Commander, is a gentleman named Trelane, an immature child of a race with vast powers. Somehow he acquired an unhealthy fascination with human military history. Last time we encountered him, he had an interest in the Napoleonic era.
It would appear, Captain, that his awareness of human history has advanced to the level of your First World War.
If it advances any further.
Not only do we need to escape this place, but we need to find a way to discourage Trelane's interest in war once and for all.
How did you escape from him last time, Captain?
His parents appeared and punished him. I doubt that we can rely on such an intervention a second time.
Okay, take us out of here.
Fascinating. This appears to be an Earth domicile, late 19th or early 20th century. It would appear to be an ordinary crate, Captain.
Of course it's a crate. It looks like a crate, feels like a crate. What else could it be?
Doctor, we are dealing with an entity who is capable of sustaining an artificial atmosphere on a planet and then flying that planet around the universe like a starship.
Spock's right, Bones. When we're dealing with Trelane, we need all the information that we can get. Something that looks trivial might be the key to defeating him and saving the Enterprise.
And the Zimbabwe.
This light bulb is an anachronism. Although its light output is typical of period lighting sources, it is far more energy efficient and encased in shatterproof glass.
Trelane was never very good at getting the fine details right.
A correct observation, Doctor. The tricorder detects nothing unusual.
You pick up a stick.
It's not firing.
The phasers have been completely drained of energy.
Courtesy of our charming host, no doubt.
No doubt. Well, gentlemen, if we're going to beat Trelane, we'll have to beat him on his own terms. No effect.
The phasers are still...
Well, I thought I could start a fire and try to get someone's attention, but I guess the straw is too damp.
The crate is open. It is full of bottles of Himrich schnapps. The date on the bottle says 1913. You have taken several bottles of schnapps. You cover the straw with schnapps.
What's going on here?
We should leave this building immediately. The proximity of this fire to a large concentration of alcohol puts us at considerable risk.
Do you think the Baron cares if you burn to death?
Who is this Baron? Trelane? Don't be a fool, man. If you keep us in here, you'll die too. It depends on whether he likes his prisoners rare, medium, or well done. Don't be a fool, man. If you keep us in here, you'll die too.
You have a point, Kirk. Go. I will be following.
Our soldier friend seems to have gotten separated from us. I heard some windows breaking on the other side of the building. I assume that was him.
The building is structurally sound, Captain. I doubt that it would collapse, but as a precaution, I would not enter it again.
Well, where are we, Mr. Spock?
Isn't it obvious? In trouble.
Do you have a problem, Mr. Ellis?
Yes, sir, I have a problem. His name was...
The Baron does not appreciate vagrants.
Why that?
Having fun, Jim? I don't see any medical... A human, approximately 60 years of age, in poor physical condition. His hip is broken, Jim. He needs our help. That should fix the hip problem. He should rest. Thank goodness Trelane didn't take the tranquilizers from my med kit. He'd probably be too tired to talk much.
Thank you for helping me. If only I had something to repay you.
You could tell us where we are.
You are the American pilot, Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Kirk, the leader of the famous Enterprise Squadron.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Jimmy?
Enterprise Squadron?
I suppose I should tell you nothing, but as it looks as though the war will soon be over, I can tell you that this is the village of Gothos.
What war is this?
The Great War. The one that has lasted for 4 damned years and has killed millions. I never thought that it was possible for so many young people to die for such a worthless cause.
I believe he refers to the first of your world wars.
Could you answer an important question for me, sir? What year is this? Where's Trelane? What else has happened? What year is this? What else has happened?
It is rumored that our forces are mutinying, and that our ambassadors have met with Mr. Wilson to discuss an armistice, but that Mr. Wilson will not negotiate with anyone except an elected government. Baron Trelane has retired to his castle and sees no one. His men are nothing more than bullies.
All right, Commander, you were about to tell us why you're being so hostile. Let's hear your story.
Does the name Lieutenant Ralph Garvin sound familiar to you? He was my roommate at the academy and was killed by some blood-sucking cloud while on a landing party under your command.
Space is not the safest of environments. I've always done my best to protect my crew, and I've always honored anyone who has lost their life under my command.
The Enterprise is routinely assigned to unknown and extremely dangerous sectors.
I have always made it a policy to lead landing parties and share the risk with my men. I suppose you've never lost someone under your command, Commander. When you become a captain of a starship, you'll have every right to judge me. We're in the middle of a life-and-death situation. I expect you to act like a Starfleet officer. I have always made...
Captain, if I see you do anything that puts us or our escape at risk, you'll regret it.
I'm not interested in vendettas. I'm interested in survival. If you have a problem with me, you can wait until everyone's safe. Is that clear, Commander?
Yes, sir.
My tricorder detects an incredibly strong power source within that shop. I recommend that we enter it immediately and examine it at close range. This strikes me as something of a Potemkin village, Captain. It lacks the scope to be truly real.
A creation of Trelane's, no doubt. One of his imitations of reality.
Undoubtedly, Captain, there is a high probability that it will be an extremely deadly place.
Charming place. Less technology, more humanity. I like it.
Somewhere in the middle of this European charm is Trelane and the missing ships. Let's find it.
The power contained within one of the clocks is off the scale, Captain. It matches with the sensor readings I took of Trelane's triplane on the Enterprise.
Theories, Mr. Spock.
Captain, the last time we encountered Trelane, he used various items, in particular, a machine hidden behind a mirror as a source for his power. This clock is another one of Trelane's power objects.
And if we could find and destroy enough of Trelane's power,
the village of Gothos would come apart, and we might find out what happened to the Enterprise.
Mr. Spock, continue scanning for power sources.
Captain, these items are not typical of what would be available in a German shop in the 20th century. I would theorize that Trelane has set this up for a reason.
Could he be testing us? I've read many reports of superior intelligences testing human beings.
Trelane does not qualify as superior intelligence, Mr. Ellis. He's not testing us. He's playing with us. And I'm rather tired of his games.
This looks safe. I don't think anyone is going to die here. Do you agree, Captain?
One never knows, Mr. Ellis. Won't push your luck, Mr. Ellis. I don't know. Foot and mouth disease can strike anyone, anywhere, and it can be fatal.
Yes, sir.
Hi, can I help you?
What do you want for that room?
That old thing. I can give it to you now. You can pay me later. I'm sure my boss, Mr. Uland, won't mind. Hi, can I help you?
I see you're selling food packages.
You look hungry. Sure, have it. Pay me later. Hi, can I help you?
Is that a coil of rope over on the wall?
That rope? No one ever buys rope. Go ahead and take it. Hi, can I help you?
What do you want for those shoes?
I'm sorry, but those shoes have already been paid for. Hi, can I help you?
What do you want for those shoes? That really is a beautiful clock.
It sure is. I can let you have it. Pay me later. Or maybe not. Mr. Uland wouldn't like me to give away something that expensive on a promise. Hi, can I help you?
What do you want? That really is a beautiful clock. Can you tell me how to make money around here?
Sure, have some money. Oh, I don't have any. I wonder why.
I would not get near that dog if I were you, Jim. It's suffering from rabies.
Just think of it, Captain. Only one security officer for you on this mission. It must be unusual to have so little protection.
Don't try to provoke me, mister. You may regret it. Do you always say things that are unbecoming a Starfleet officer? I don't know. It seems like I'm carrying excess baggage on this mission.
I don't know what you mean, sir.
Where's the hospital? Even when they heal, they butcher people.
Doctor, your criticisms of this era's medical technology are illogical. They did not have the tools to perform surgery without cutting open their patients. Perhaps one day, our medical practices will seem primitive compared to the standards of a future generation.
The dog is now hungrily eating its meal.
Another satisfied patient.
What is it, Gringold? Ah, visitors.
An ordinary house cat, Felis catus, a common human pet. The first records of domesticated cats are from ancient Egypt, where they reduced the rat population in the grain fields and were also used as hunting animals to retrieve small birds.
Spock, has anyone ever told you that ignorance is bliss?
His name is Glingold, Captain Spock.
Several objects of sentimental value line the mantelpiece. Cherished possessions that have been gathered over the course of a lifetime, admired by friends and family that are now dead. A one-armed gentleman sitting on a sofa.
What can I do for you, Colonel?
What can you tell me about the war? I noticed that you have only one. What can you tell me about Trelane? Where can I go to earn some money? What can you tell me about the war?
We are a nation of warriors, Colonel. Like your America, we were born in war. We believe that military might gives men the right to take what they want.
What about diplomacy?
I wish we understood it better, Colonel. The pieces of paper that our diplomats sign have too little meaning. If we paid more attention, we could have prevented this latest mad conflict. I lost my grandson at the Marne. What can I do for you, Colonel?
What can you tell me about the war? I noticed that you have only one.
I lost my arm in the last war, January 8, 1871, during the siege of Paris during Bismarck's war with France, shortly before Germany's glorious victory. It still didn't bring my arm back. What can I do for you, Colonel?
What can you tell me about? What can you tell me about?
Ah, yes, the glorious Baron. I'm an early soldier, retired and alone, except for Gringold. I don't think I can tell you anything about him. What can I do for you, Colonel?
What can you tell? Where can I go to earn?
I might be able to give you some money, Colonel, if I could think of something useful that you could do for me. Thank you, Colonel. You Americans are very helpful. It's a pity we're at war with you. But wars always end, and today's enemy often becomes tomorrow's friend. Unfortunately, the reverse is often true. Here, it's not much, but money has its uses.
Thank you. Perhaps you might be able to use a broom around here.
Why, thank you, Colonel. What did you do? My rheumatism is much better.
Nothing, Herr Eckhart. I'm just a simple country doctor.
And remember, democracy is weak. It relies on the votes of the foolish masses who are incapable of choosing strong leaders. Constitutional government fosters weakness. The rejection of republicanism is what won the last war for Germany, and it will bring us victory over these stupid Americans.
That's not what they told us at the Academy.
Captain, another abnormally high reading emanating from the chalkboard.
And I thought 20th century hospitals were grim.
And yet the very best people who taught in a place like this had the power to uplift people's lives, to teach them knowledge, principles, and self-awareness. This was a battlefield where millions of unknown soldiers of knowledge fought to elevate humanity from barbarism.
Boys and girls, let me introduce you to an example of inferior Republican stock. Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Kirk. Tell us, Kirk, how can you defend the ludicrous American system?
I see no reason to defend anything, Captain. These children are, in spite of your efforts to indoctrinate them, quite capable of growing up to become adults who will make up their own minds. I am not interested in a debate, Hauptmann. If your system is so superior to America's, how come you're losing the war? Why don't we put it up to a vote? You have a choice between a system that gives you leaders who will oppress you for life, or a system which, imperfect though it may be, allows you to influence your leaders and gives you a chance to bring them to account. All in favor of Hauptmann's system, say aye.
Aye!
All in favor of my system, say aye.
Aye!
It appears that they don't want what you offer them, Hauptmann.
I will not tolerate such insults. The Baron will make you all pay.
Jim, wasn't that a violation of the Prime Directive?
Dr. McCoy, this is clearly an imaginary culture with no real existence. The Prime Directive cannot be reasonably extrapolated to affect such a culture.
Please, take anything, but not that. Education represents our children's future, and education cannot succeed if it is neglected or if teachers do not have the proper tools. is very shy, Colonel.
Are all Americans as handsome as you, Colonel Kirk?
Why, Bones, you're never at a loss for words. You answer.
Lieutenant Colonel Kirk, when I grow up, will you teach me how to fly as good as you?
Well,
I guess we're ready to ship you to the academy, Jim.
Wow, a real American pilot. Can I shoot you as an escaped prisoner?
No.
Frau Humperdinck, Colonel Kirk won't let me shoot him. Is that fair?
Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. What do you think about the war? What can you tell me about Trelane? These children are something, aren't they? I didn't realize they let mad dogs teach children. You know, I've heard that chalkboards can be very dangerous to children. The chalk is very bad for the lungs. Maybe I should remove it. What do you think about the...
It's horrible. With any luck, my students won't have to fight in such a war when they get older. Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. What do you think about the war? What can you tell me about...
The Baron. Such a charming man. If all the military and Gothos were like him, it would be a better place to live. Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. What do you think about the war? What can... These children are something, aren't they?
They are a little rambunctious, aren't they? Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. What do you think of... What can... These... I didn't realize they let mad dogs teach children. You know, I've heard that chalkboards can be...
You want to remove my chalkboard? Nein, absolutely not. I wouldn't consider it unless you gave me a letter from the superintendent telling me to do this.
A rack containing German rifles.
A German World War I Army rifle captain. There are no unusual readings from it.
There don't have to be.
Indeed, Doctor. By this period, firearms were extremely efficient and deadly. The tricorder scan indicates that the safe contains trinitrotoluene, commonly referred to as TNT.
I suppose it might be an asset. Can you get it?
My tricorder indicates the lock is atypical for the period. I would require the exact combination.
A drink from you? If you believe that people drink your drug schnapps, you are insane. I would have shot you on sight, Lieutenant Colonel Kirk. You owe your life to Baron Trelane's kindness.
I'll try to remember to thank him when I see him. Why don't you tell your so-called Baron to stop playing games and come out of the castle and face me? Kindness? Trelane? Are we talking about the same man?
Your insults are meaningless, Colonel. The Baron is a civilized man. How else can you explain the fact that you are not dead?
The Baron is an immature, power-crazed child who has kept us alive to entertain himself by subjecting us to a sadistic reproduction of one of Earth's bloodiest wars.
If I weren't civilized, I would kill you for such an insult.
You call yourself civilized?
Get out!
I can't believe the trench would be so close to the town.
It shouldn't be. At this point in the war, the Allies had broken through the trenches. That's why Germany surrendered. Their defenses were crumbling, and they didn't want to see their cities destroyed.
Only one of many illogical situations, Commander. The building where we were imprisoned almost burned to the ground, but no other building was touched, and no one seemed concerned about the fire.
What else?
The fact that everyone seems to recognize us, yet the military does not try to intercept us. The building signs in English instead of German. There is much here that is not what it seems. This battlefield does not truly represent the misery that was your First World War. A single soldier where there would be dozens. Dirt where there should be mud. Trelane is not providing an accurate depiction of this war, Captain.
At least we have one thing to thank him for, Mr. Spock. Think of it. Millions of young kids enthusiastically signing up for a war without purpose, dying without reason, by the orders of commanders who don't care. It's too bad that things haven't changed much in the last 400 years. Kids still die meaningless deaths for commanders who don't care.
It's hard to believe that I'm from the same species that could create such carnage.
We improved, but that's damning with faint praise. How come these planet-side missions always end up being so damn cheerful?
Captain, another abnormally high reading emanating from an object in his pocket. A locket of some sort.
No effect. No effect.
Nothing to report in the West.
What can you tell me about the war? What can you tell me about Trelane? About your locket. What can you tell?
I am a sentry. The others are dead. I think I'm dying. Nothing to report in the West.
What can you tell me? What can you tell me about?
I like to watch the airplanes fly overhead. The enemy watches them too, and I know we'll have a few minutes of peace. Nothing to report in the West.
What can you?
You want my locket? But that's the only reminder of my girl. I'd rather lose my arm.
We need it very badly. If we do something for you, would you give it to us?
I have a letter to my girl. If you see that it is delivered, I'll give you my locket.
My dearest Hilda, you are the sun that lights my shadows. Your voice is the one that speaks to me when all other voices are filled with pain. Only your memory keeps this unbearable suffering from driving me mad. That and the hope that this war will soon end, one way or another, and that I may yet live to see your smile.
Young human male, life signs failing. Suffering from internal bleeding and shock. That's odd. I should be able to see immediate improvement in his injuries. But I have no response.
That is because Trelane is interfering. This man is meant to be a dying soldier, whose presence provides drama for Trelane's production.
He'll die.
Logic suggests that Trelane will not allow him to die except for dramatic effect. Given the inconsistencies I've noticed, it is probable that he may be kept alive indefinitely.
Can you give him something for the pain, Doctor?
Nothing I've done has any effect on him, Commander.
You know the Baron's orders are that you are to be served in the armory. You are not to enter this establishment.
Everyone knows, Fraulein, that the Baron's orders were never meant to be taken seriously. Even by him.
Looks like trouble.
Excuse me, but if the lady wants you out, then you should get out. Would you like to step outside? Hello, soldier. Wouldn't you look good with beer on your face? Excuse me, but if the lady wants...
I won't have trouble in my place. Get out. I will be bringing beer to the armory later tonight anyway.
I don't know who you are, but we had better not meet again.
Nice guy.
A large and rather ugly painting of a townscape.
The tricorder detects no unusual properties.
Except for its unusual ugliness, Spock.
My father painted that.
It's a very nice painting.
Come to think about it, it's very, interesting.
My tricorder indicates 3 people in the immediate vicinity.
My medical tricorder identifies the substance contained in the keg to be a fermented cereal produced by a malting process.
In other words, beer.
How come Spock gets to ramble on forever with his explanations without interruptions, and I don't?
I recommend finding out as much as we can about Trelane.
He's an immature maniac with immense powers. Now, what else do we need to know about him, Spock?
Knowledge of his current activities would be an asset, Doctor.
With an egotist like Trelane, I doubt we'll have to do too much investigating. He'll let us know what he's planning.
Foreknowledge, Doctor, is preferable to surprise.
Well, Miss Gernsbeck, you seem to run a very efficient place.
Thank you, Colonel. Unfortunately, the war does not lend itself to efficiency. What do you wish to talk about?
Why are you calling me a colonel? What's going on with the war? You said that the war led to a lack of efficiency. What are you talking about? What do you know about Trelane? Why do these soldiers bother you? I've looked in at the school, and I believe that chalkboard is extremely dangerous. I need to convince Herr Schiller to let me dispose of it. Can you deliver a letter for me?
Give me the letter, and I will see that it is delivered. Thank you, Captain. I will see that it is delivered.
Excuse me, Gretel, could you answer a question or two for me?
I will try, Colonel.
Why are you calling me a colonel?
I know who you are. Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Kirk, leader of the famed United States Enterprise Squadron that has shot down so many of our pilots, along with Major Spock and Captain Leo McCoy.
Captain McCoy?
Leo?
Excuse me, Gretel, could you answer a question or two for me?
I will try, Colonel.
What's going on with the war?
It has not been going well of late, though we are told that Kaiser Wilhelm will never surrender. I doubt the war will last more than 2 months.
What is the date?
You have been held prisoner for a long time. It is October 16th, 1918. I'm glad it's coming to an end. I've lost so many friends. I've never felt so alone.
You said that the war led to a lack of efficiency. What are you talking about?
The soldiers are little more than animals. They do as they please because the band protects them. I must deliver kegs of beer for them every night. It keeps them from having to leave the armory. I'm glad it's coming to an end. I've lost so many friends. I've never felt so alone.
What do you know about Trelane?
I know the band despises you and has vowed to kill you if you should ever meet again. Take my advice. Flee Gothos and never return.
And how does one flee Gothos?
I do not know. Else I would have left long ago. The village of Gothos seems to ensnare anyone who comes here. You see, I really work for the French government. I'm a spy. I'm glad it's coming to an end. I've lost so many friends. I've never felt so alone.
Spy?
I have been here for 2 years. The Western Front is very close, and I send information to France. I'm glad it's coming to an end. I've lost so many friends. I've never felt so alone.
Why do these soldiers bother you? Gretel, I need to... Why do these
The soldiers are little more than animals. They do as they please because a bear... I'm glad it's coming to an end. I've lost so many friends. I've never felt so alone.
Gretel, I need to persuade Herr Schiller to give me the school's chalkboard. It is vitally important to the war.
Herr Kirk, as you know my secret, I have no choice but to help you. Herr Schiller cares about the health of his pupils more than anything. If you could convince him that the chalkboard is dangerous...
I had a thought about that. How can I convince him?
Herr Sundergaard, the publisher, is the most respected man in Gothos. Next to the Baron, of course. If you could persuade him to start rumors that these chalkboards were unhealthy, I believe that Herr Schiller would believe it and give you a letter allowing you to confiscate it. I'm glad it's coming to an end. I've lost so many friends. I've never felt so alone.
Gretel. Alone, Fräulein?
Perhaps someday, when you have defeated your enemy and this war is finally over, you would come and visit me. I would enjoy spending better times with you.
Perhaps, Fräulein.
Herr Kirk, it's good to see you. Herr Kirk, it's good to see you.
Rudolf Ulan, owner of the shop outside. What seems to be the problem?
What do you think about the war, Herr Ulan? What can you tell me about... What do you think about...
Herr Schiller would have us believe that Germany is doomed. But I have more faith in our great soldiers than that. Victory shall be ours. Herr Kirk, what is it this time?
What can you tell me about Trelane? That's a very nice clock. What can you tell me about Trelane?
The perfect German. If anyone can turn this war around, it's him.
You're such a sycophant, Rudolph.
Herr Kirk, what is it this time?
That's a very nice clock in your shop.
If you wish to purchase the clock, all you have to do is pay for it. It's a simple enough arrangement.
McCoy has drugged the beer.
If I didn't know your good luck was only temporary, I'd be quite annoyed.
Mr. Full House is complaining. If his hands were any more indecent, he would be arrested.
With the Baron's soldiers, he might be arrested even if his hands were decent. I can't complete a straight to save my life.
Or your fortune.
There is a date circled on this calendar, October 16, 1918.
I'm Werner Gellert, the shoemaker. If you are not prepared to play, please leave us.
Excuse our friend. He doesn't like to perform in front of an audience.
Welcome. I am Kurt Nielsen, owner of the Gothos Brewery. If you care to join, feel free, if you can pay the stake.
Hello, I am Richard Sundergaard. I publish the local newspaper. It's nice to see someone as famous as you, Lieutenant Colonel.
Doesn't it worry you, Herr Sundergaard, that you know an enemy ace is standing next to you?
The Baron has given orders for everyone in Gothos to treat you well, Herr Kirk. A fellow pilot honoring fellow pilots, I suppose, although I would not trust the military to follow those orders to the letter. Welcome, friends. Can I help you?
What can you tell me about the war?
My son is in the army. I fear for him constantly. I've tried to convince the commander at the armory to authorize his transfer. I would do nearly anything for that transfer. Welcome, friends. Can I help you?
What can you tell me about the war? What can you tell me about Trelane?
Herr Kirk, you know the Baron quite well, do you not? I doubt I could tell you anything you do not know. Welcome, friends. Can I help you?
What can you tell me about... Can you help me get into this poker game? I need you to spread a rumor about a chalkboard. I need you to spread a rumor about a chalkboard.
You say you need me to convince Herr Schiller to give you the kindergarten blackboard? Do not know why, but I would do anything if you could get the commander to issue a transfer for my son. Welcome, friends. Can I help you?
What can you tell me about the... Can you help me get into this poker game? I need you to spread a rumor about it. Can you help me get into this poker game?
I would lend you a stake to enter this game, but it appears that I will have to win a few hands to give you that money.
I don't want to sit down right now.
Welcome to the game, Colonel.
3 hours later.
My God! Where did you learn to play poker, Colonel?
Starfleet Academy.
We have enough money to purchase the clock, Captain. I suggest we do so without delay.
Give me a good match of Somenjitsu any day.
Hi, can I help you?
What do you want for those shoes? That really is a beautiful clock.
You can afford it. Take it.
Save new game. Replace previous game.
That was some smart work, Dr. McCoy, to drug their beer.
Thank you, Commander.
It's nice to see someone on the Enterprise is clever enough to avoid risking people's lives.
I have a bad feeling about this.
You'll never get me to talk.
I would prefer that you didn't. You're nothing but a figment of Trelane's childish imagination. You're even less important than he is. Where's Trelane? Where's my crew? I would prefer that you didn't.
I will tell you nothing.
I could mind meld with him to get the combination of the safe.
Do it, Spock.
Trelane. Trelane. Trelane.
Spock, snap out of it.
He's not paying attention to me. Run away.
The combination, Spock. Concentrate on the combination.
Kirk. I must have revenge on Kirk. Every great man has his enemy. Nothing could be more fun than revenge. The sensation to end all sensations.
Spock!
I'm back, Captain. I was able to mind meld with Trelane to an extent through his replications. These men are the crew of the Shinobi, the original freighter that Trelane captured. Their thoughts have been altered by Trelane.
Where is the Enterprise, Spock?
Or the Zimbabwe?
I received the impression that Trelane is holding them prisoner. I also got the combination for the safe. Right 43, left 18, right 29, pull.
Jim, let's not fool around with high explosives.
I suggest caution. He's a trained military officer. Giving him freedom without covering him with a weapon is not a good idea.
It's not very friendly, Commander.
Doctor, my job is to tell you the situation as I see it, not as I'd like it to be. If you think that being friendly to people loyal to Trelane is useful, tell me that I'm wrong.
You might be right, Bones.
You have taken one of their rifles.
You presume to threaten me, Colonel?
I want you to sign transfer papers for Sundergaard's son. Send him away from the front.
How typical of the press. Not too willing to sacrifice for the good of the nation. Untie me, and I shall sign papers to take this little coward away from his duty.
I'll get it.
You have taken the signed transfer papers.
And what is the Bluffmeister up to this time?
He doesn't bluff. He just complains about everything.
I do not. If I did, I would have hit the ceiling with my last hand.
You dealt. You deal with it.
There's no hand worse than the one you deal yourself. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel. I cannot express my gratitude. If there is anything I can do for you, please let me know. Welcome, friends. Can I help you?
What can you tell me? I need you to spread a rumor.
You say you need me to convince Herr Schiller to give you the kindergarten blackboard. I would do anything for the man who got the commander to issue a transfer for my son.
Herr Kirk, what is it this time?
I'm just saying hello, Herr Oland.
I suppose I should be courteous, Herr Kirk, but there's little profit to be made in having good manners.
I saw how you handled that foolish brute outside. Quite impressive. I am Schiller, superintendent of the local schools. How may I help you?
What do you think of the war? What can you tell me about Trelane? You look worried. It wouldn't happen to be about the chalkboard by any chance. What do you think of the war?
Horrible business. When it started, I thought it would be good for Germany, but it soon became a mess. I hope it will be over soon. If we can settle this thing without harsh negotiations, we can get back to being a civilized nation once again. Herr Kirk, though my position as school superintendent keeps me busy, I'm always glad to help you.
What can you tell me about Trelane?
A flamboyant man, and the greatest pilot in Germany. If only his soldiers weren't such rabble. Herr Kirk, though my position as school superintendent keeps me busy, I'm always glad to help you.
You look worried. It wouldn't happen to be about the chalkboard by any chance.
I have heard the most horrifying rumors about these boards. Do you think they are true?
Absolutely. If you wish, I could dispose of the thing for you before anyone is harmed. I'd need a letter for Frau Hopperdink.
Absolutely. Let me just take pen to paper. Take it when you want to destroy the vile thing.
You pick up the piece of paper.
Nothing to report in the West.
What can you tell me about the war? What can you tell me about that locket?
You've delivered my letter. I guess I'll keep my promise. Have my locket.
Well, if the superintendent says you must take it, you must.
There it is, the triplane that shot down the Enterprise.
Why don't you start it up and fly off in a blaze of glory? After all, you are James T. Kirk, the toast of Starfleet. The man who never loses.
Mr. Ellis.
What's the matter, Kirk? The truth hurts? You never let that get in the way of your ego before.
I'm putting you on report for insubordination. We're all upset, Mr. Ellis, but these insults won't solve the thing. That's it. I've taken all I can stand from you. I'm putting you on report for insubordination. We're all upset.
I don't believe in mincing my words, Captain. If you can't accept my honest opinion, too bad.
Fine, but do yourself a favor and stay out of my way. That's it. I've taken all I can stand from you. Fine, but do yourself a favor and stay out of my...
Kirk, I'm going to be in your face so much that you're never going to forget what I look like.
Commander, I know a treatment that has a good success rate at reducing excess aggressiveness. It's called reason.
Another abnormally high reading emanating from the plane. It is in every way a Fokker DR-1, except for that power source. I'm picking up immense power readings from that castle in the distance. There is a high probability that it's Trelane's base.
Well, of course it's Trelane's base. Where do you expect Trelane to live? A slum?
Doctor, your display of emotion is quite unnecessary.
The Enterprise is not far. I can sense it.
That is not logical, Captain.
I know, Mr. Spock, but I'd bet everything that I have it's nearby.
Captain, the force field around the castle is extremely intense. I get the same energy signature from it as I did from the triplane that attacked the Enterprise.
Mr. Spock, is there any way to penetrate it?
The force field permeates the ground, Captain. The largest weapons of this era could not penetrate the force field. If we could generate a disruption on the wavelength, the field could be breached, although we would not have much time before it was reestablished.
How could we generate such a disruption?
By physically destroying other objects that resonate on that wavelength. Objects like the power objects that we have already found.
Well, here we are. I wonder what kind of death this person has in store for us.
An impressive edifice.
I would have thought someone with Trelane's ego would have jumped to make a grand entrance from the castle.
Obviously, he's waiting for a moment of maximum theatrical effect. Or maybe you're just a coward, Trelane.
It is interesting that he does not choose to appear at this time.
And quite annoying, although perhaps I should count my blessings. Here we are at Trelane's doorstep. What's the matter, Trelane? Is the great Baron of Gothos afraid to come out and play?
You put the locket in the triplane. You put the chalkboard in the triplane. You put the clock in the triplane.
Affirmative, Captain.
Everyone stay well back.
I suppose I should be angry at you, Captain, with your act of vandalism against my beautiful aircraft. But then, barbarians will be barbarians.
There's only one barbarian in the room, Trelane, and I'm looking at him right now. Release my ship, Trelane. And don't you ever grow up, Trelane? You may have powers of a god, but that doesn't even come close to making you a man. There's only one barbarian.
Captain, you're even ruder and more antagonistic than I remembered. How wonderful!
What must I do to make you leave me and my crew alone?
I have no interest in leaving you alone, Captain. As for your crew, you're only a few feet away from them. Observe my trophies, Captain Kirk.
Well, how does the great James T. Kirk get us out of this mess? Or the ones who will get out of this mess alive?
None of us will get out of here alive if we don't stick together. Do you have any ideas, Mr. Ellis?
Have you ever played hide and seek, Captain? From what you've told me, he's a cosmic child hiding from his parents. If I were his parents, I wouldn't leave him alone for a minute. I'll bet my life that someone's looking for him, Captain.
You just might be right, Mr. Ellis.
Well, this is another fine mess we're in, Jim.
Any ideas on how to get out of this, Bones?
Well, looking at it from a medical perspective, we might view Trelane as a biological control network. And everything else that's going on is controlled by Trelane.
And?
What happens if Trelane loses control? Immaturity does seem to be Trelane's only weakness.
That's dangerous, Bones.
Like playing with a phaser on overload, but that's the only thing I can think of right now.
I can suggest no logical course of action that can resolve this dilemma.
This is hardly a logical situation, Mr. Spock.
Indeed. Still, I wonder if Trelane realizes the extent of his misrepresentation.
All right, Trelane, why don't we end this farce? I'm the one who humiliated you. I'm the reason your parents punished you. Let the others and their ships go free.
Last time, Captain, you cheated. But if your friends are here, maybe you won't cheat.
This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the USS Enterprise.
Jim, is that what I think it is?
It is the Enterprise, Doctor. It is functioning normally, aside from being trapped. The crew are alive and well.
My latest hobby, gentlemen, putting warships in bottles, celebrating the grand martial heritage of your species.
This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the USS Zimbabwe.
My ship! Bring it back or I'll...
This one's even more savage than the last one of your officers who made the same mistake. My compliments, Captain, on having such a spirited crew. Truly a testament to your fine leadership.
Release him, Trelane. He's done you no harm. Take me in his place. He's not a member of my crew and you know it. Besides, he looks rather peaceful standing there. Release him, Trelane. He's done you no harm. Take me in his place.
Ah, the gallant captain, intervening on behalf of one who despises him. Don't worry about him, Captain. Worry about yourself.
I suppose I should thank you, Captain.
Later, Commander.
This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the SS Maniki-er, a Denebian transport. This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the SS Shinobi, a freighter.
Captain, the painting is another power object. Is it really necessary to use firearms?
It's a power object. You remember what happened the last time I shot one of his power objects?
Yes, it was destroyed. Trelane's power faded until he activated a secondary power object. We need to find a more permanent solution, Captain.
Trelane, the Baron of Gothos, smirks triumphantly as the little drama unfolds. Weird stuff, Mr. Ellis thinks. Why did I have to get mixed up with the Enterprise and their weird stuff?
Well, Captain, I suppose you're about to make your grand plan of escape?
You must think you're pretty clever, Trelane, with your replica of the First World War. Why should I have to make a grand plan to escape from a loser like you? I don't have to do anything. Eventually, your parents are going to find you and discipline you again.
Fortunately, Kirk, my parents are otherwise occupied. They won't interrupt me when I'm winning.
But you have to compete first before you can win. Send the others away safely, and I'll give you a chance at revenge. That's odd. I was sure I detected other power sources converging towards us when I was on the Enterprise. You weren't winning, Trelane. You never were. You had tremendous powers, you had a weapon, and I didn't. And you still fell on your face. That's odd. I was sure...
No, you didn't. It's nowhere near me. But there's no harm in making sure we aren't seen. She's gone. Now I have to think of the proper way to destroy my enemies. You have a brief respite before your destruction.
Save new game. Replace previous game.
Well, Captain, I suppose you're about to make your grand plan of escape.
You must think you're pretty clever, Trelane, with your replica of the First World War.
Why, thank you, Captain.
I wasn't complimenting you, Trelane. I've never seen such a piece of nonsense in my life. Although you could have made that trench scene much more realistic. If World War I had been the way you depicted, human history would have been a lot less bloody. Although you could have...
Really, Captain?
Look into the memory banks of the Enterprise, Trelane. Recreate what's in there, and let me show you firsthand the glory of one of the bloodiest conflicts in human history. Not a liar, just misinformed. Use the memory banks of the Enterprise, Trelane. Recreate what's in there. War at its most realistic and terrifying.
A dead French soldier. He survived a mustard gas attack at Ep3, but in this war, luck is not on anyone's side. The sides of a trench, moats filled with soldiers in which they besieged each other for 4 bloody years. A dead French soldier. In his hands, he cradles a letter from his fiancée. A German soldier. He had lost his 3 brothers at Verdun and had considered mutinying, but feared disgrace more than the loss of his own life. A German soldier. Though you couldn't tell it from the color of his uniform, mud has a way of making them all look the same. The sides of a trench. Moats filled with soldiers in which they besieged each other for 4 bloody years. A dead French soldier. Dr. McCoy would tell you that he was already half dead from disease before the battle began. Rain has been falling for hours, ever since the battle ended. Otherwise, all is quiet on the Western Front. Trelane, the Baron of Gothos, seems delighted by what he is seeing. Save new game, replace previous.
Captain Kirk, I hope you had a good reason for dragging me out in the mud in the middle of the rain.
Look around you, Trelane. Is this glory? Is this valor? Smell the stench of death. While knights fought in the sky, millions died in the mud. diseased, starving, mutilated. Is this the sort of game you want to play, Trelane? For once in your life, Trelane, shut up and look around you. Look around, Trelane. Take in the ambience, the romance of this place. Look at the proud soldiers celebrating the glories of war. Look around you.
But these people lost, Kirk. Shame and suffering is supposed to befall the losers in war.
These were the winners, Trelane. You're inhuman, Trelane. You play games with people and ignore their suffering, just like the people who sent these men to die. You should have been a politician. If you have any real courage, Trelane, if you want to experience real warfare, put yourself in their place. No powers, no titles. Experience the glory of war firsthand, like these men did. You're inhuman, Trelane.
I'm not a politician. I'm a general. I'm a baron. The great Trelane, the humble Baron of Gothos.
Does it look like these men had fun, Trelane? Look at their faces. You've known pain. You've known grief. I've seen it. Don't you have any grief or feeling for them?
You're no fun anymore, Kirk. No fun at all. You're preachy just like them. Anything I'm interested in is always wrong.
Release my ship. Trelane, look around you. Does this look right to you? Trelane, you don't go around hurting people and expect them to treat it as though they're having fun. The first thing a life form learns is to avoid pain. Release my ship.
Why should I? I was winning. I really was. I won that ship fair and square. It's mine now. My ship. Mine, mine, mine.
Trelane, if I admit that I cheated on our last encounter, can I have my ship back? No, Trelane, it's my ship. I'm the commanding officer. There's nothing you can do to change that. I'll tell you what, Trelane. You can keep the Enterprise. All I want is your triplane. Trelane, if I admit that I...
Admit that you cheated? That you were a scoundrel who was a disgrace to your uniform? A complete washout as captain? Not fit to lick the boots of the great Trelane, Baron of Gothos?
Yes, I admit all that. Now release my ship.
Oh, but I was having so much fun with it. Oh, I had such a wonderful time defeating your great air fleet.
Look at the calendar in Gothos. The war is nearly over. Wars do end, Trelane. It's time to put the triplanes away. But Trelane, I admitted everything you wanted me to admit. You're going to keep your word, aren't you? Come on, Trelane. You said you would give me back my ship. You promised.
Oh, I suppose I should. If only to stop your unbearable complaining. However, I will be back. Do not make any mistake about that.
Captain's log. Missing starships have been restored to normal size and are about to return to their assigned missions. It was horrible, Mr. Spock. Trelane recreated one of the greatest tragedies in human history. I've seen a lot, but even that...
The waste of lives is appalling, even when one operates by pure logic. When one considers what those millions of lives that were lost might have done for humanity had the war never taken place.
Well, now that we've taken care of business... Ow! I'll have to see Dr. McCoy about my shoulder.
Something happened, Captain.
Mr. Ellis and I.
I see. Are your differences settled?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Spock. We each won a game of zero-G squash, but I'm afraid he was called back to the Zimbabwe before we could have a rubber match. I think I dislocated my shoulder with a rather wild swing in the second game.
Then logic suggests that your injury would have caused you to lose the match.
I suppose so. He's a good player and a good officer. I'm putting in a request to bring him on the Enterprise.
That should be fascinating.
Hello, Captain. I'm Captain Gernsbeck of the Shinobi. I thought I would thank you personally before we left for Cephas 5.
A pleasure to meet you, Captain.
Have we met before, Captain? There's something familiar.
Perhaps we did, on some other planet, in some other star system, sometime long ago.
Message from Starfleet Command.
On screen.
I've reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments. I am very pleased with your performance. It was a perfect mission, Jim. Your reputation as Starfleet's best starship captain is secure. Kane out.